Hey, everybody. Hopefully, my mic is on. How's everybody doing? Hold up, y'all. Let me clear my throat. It says there's 0 people in here and that I'm live. Hopefully, that is not the case. Can everybody see me? Let me know. Can y'all see me? Let me know. Okay, I see 30 people in here. Okay. Everybody get in here, get in here, get in here. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. All right. Hold up. Let me mute this. I don't know why I'm getting. Did you guys know that they increased the price of premium for YouTube? It's like a lot of monies now, you guys. A lot of monies. I don't like that. It sucks. Hold up. And I didn't even tell everybody that I was live yet. I didn't tell Twitter. I didn't tell anybody. I might have told my shoot. Where's the? Hold up. What is going on here? How's everybody doing today? View your channel. It's like they're changing a lot of stuff here on YouTube, and I'm having a hard time. You see me perfectly. Thank you, Pika. Pika, will you let everybody? I'm pretty sure you probably already did. So I'm gonna let everybody on Twitter know that we are live. Well, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Oh my goodness, already 53 likes. Lord have mercy. We are live. Let's finish this up. This review. So if you missed it, I think was it Tuesday? It was Tuesday, I think. We did a little reaction to the Meet Kevin and Lima conversation about homelessness and how they see homelessness and some of the how something is not a housing issue, homelessness. This is not a housing issue. This is a, you know, drug problem issue, and this is a this issue. You know how they were. Anyways, let me stop. But what was so interesting is that I came into the chat earlier this morning. Because I tend to check my channel in the morning, especially the live chat when I schedule something for the night before. And there was a troll in I would assume it's a troll, but it was something to the effect of "Stop writing Lima," and, what did she say? Hold up, I think I highlighted it. "You people are demented and fixated on Lima. Did BJ make her correction about Amanda yet? Amanda didn't have cannabinoids and barbiturates in her system. Red, red, red. Well, why are you coming into my channel to tell me that? Why don't you go into BJ's channel, BJ's comment section, and make that statement there? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm over here reviewing this. Get it together. Get it together. Please, trolls, get it together, okay? All right, hold up, y'all. I'm getting this going. Free. Okay. Uh, Going live now. Here we go. How's everybody doing? Okay. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I have something to say. Good evening. How about right, right? But it's like what I am not the fixer of anything. Shout out to and BJ doesn't need me to fix. Hello. Like, come on now. That girl does not need me to fix anything. Welcome, everybody. I think I got my coffee on right. I'm just checking this light real quick in the settings. I think that's better. Okay, because I could see myself a little bit more. Hey, everybody. Mm, I'm having some black coffee right now, iced coffee. All right. Let me shout everybody out that I see in the chat. It is Friday, you guys. It is Friday. Pika Nebulous, shout out to everybody. Chico, Lee Ann, I know I saw nonsense earlier. Who else? Who else is in the house? I saw more people in here. Um, oh, shout out to my member. I gotta shout out my members. Animal, welcome. Thank you for being here. I saw Pika. I already said hello. Ginger, oh snap. Thank you for being here. Um, Christina, Bonnie, yes, everybody come through. Is it El Rice? I don't know what it is that's throwing me off about your name. Please help me sound it out. El Rayasan? Is that how I say did I say it correctly? Let me know. I just don't like mutilating anybody's creative names. Thank you so Oh, well, see, and then you super chat me. Can you at least don't super chat me until I know how to say your name, love. Like, I want to say it correctly, and you helped me sound it out last time. But I would totally, I'm just horrible. You guys got to understand, English is not my first language. It's actually my second language. Elria, Elria. Is that how I say? Did I say it right, Animal? Elria, Eddie, nonsense. Tinkle Tits is in the house. I hope Sadie's doing well. Girl, I know you're talking to me. It's all good. Okay. El Ear. El Iria. Did I say it right? El Iria. El Iria. El Iria. Girl, I'm gonna be saying it. El Iria. El Iria. Thank you. Thank you. Kaya is it see here's another one. It's Kalyani. Thank you. El Iria. Thank you. Y'all, you guys gotta correct me in the chat. I really, I'm not joking when I say English is my second language. I was the hooked on phonics kid that was in the special reading group who had the red folders. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just letting you know. It took me a while to really learn how to read. It's I still don't like comprehend everything that I read, so I have to go back and do it again and again and again. But that's just being realistic. I mean, my ADHD was very severe. Yeah, you know. Sadie is doing well, thank you. Yay! Shout out to Sadie. We are thinking about her. Okay, cool. Yanni. I go by Yanni. Okay, I love Yanni. Ooh, I love Yanni. Sushi Jezebel's in the house. Thank you. Nola Lola. Cambry, welcome. Thank you for being here. Who else is in the house? Hold up, because I missed a bunch of people, I think. Bella, how you doing, love? Thank you for being here. Um, um, thank you. Cheeks, how you doing, my love? Uh, is it Beyonce? Girl, I was gonna say Beyonce. All right, let me stop. So the coffee's kicking in, so I'm just waiting for it to really full on ahead so we can give some commentary. Leah, Liz, everybody. All right, Daisy girls in the chat. Who else? Who else? Okay, y'all are killing me, man. Y'all are killing me. I saw Bonnie in here. Shout out to Bonnie. Oh, you're out till tomorrow. I'm so sorry, man. Cash is in the house. Welcome, Cash. That sucks. That really, really sucks to be out of coffee because that's like, I mean, I would cry. Um, I don't know. Chell, thank you for becoming a member, love. All right. I know, right? Cash is like, Rabbit can get through legal documents just fine. And isn't her first language and law speak in the when it comes to legal documents, I definitely um I do it a little bit different, right? Like I don't want to sound like a complete dumbass. But I'm just letting you know, like honestly, pronunciation, especially names. I don't know why my headphones are going in and out. Hold up. Names are always very hard. I don't know why, but I'm just letting y'all know. I was that kid that was on Hooked on Phonics, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, names are hard. Names are hard for me. Okay, let's get it together. So for those that did not watch our first review, make sure you watch it. We were talking about all kinds of stuff. We're about to, get into this one. And this one, I think we stopped at 4235. 4235. So I stopped it right there. We're right on it. We about to get it. Um I know, right? Nonsense. We butcher, we butcher names. That's how we do. Hey, Cape. Okay. No, my headphones go in and out. I don't know. I think it's time for a new pair. And I just got these on my birthday, and it's I don't know. I need a new everything, but it is what it is. Okay, let's get it together. So, doing a little review of this, we were talking about Kevin was interviewing her, and she talked a little bit about her story, her side of the story, and where things were at, what she sees homelessness as, how she feels like insurance companies are going about treating the mental health issue in the United States. She basically said that she feels like The hotlines, especially like the suicide hotlines or mental health crisis hotlines, are a joke, which I found to be very insulting. She spews a lot of information and not a lot of data, it's not even data. She cites data, but she doesn't cite where she got the data from. So if I sat up here and I said 90% of the people that drink coffee are mentally ill, and I just, I say that. Maybe I read that somewhere on Google or Wikipedia or whatever, and I just go about my, career saying, well, 90% of the people are, that are mentally ill drink coffee. Therefore, if you drink coffee, you are mentally ill, right? Making these um, assertions and deducing based on fallacies. And to me, that is very concerning, right? Because the homelessness issue is such a complex issue, and we can go on and hours and talking about it. But I also feel like there's this issue of how we as a society view poverty. I'll never forget. There's a book that I read by David Shipler, and this is how ingrained it's in my head because it totally resonated with me. It's called The Working Poor. Look it up. I read it back in like 2010. It's crazy that I still remember. There's some books that I remember. But the very first chapter of that book, it just resonated with me because it talked about how a lot of us, we are the working poor, right? Some of us in our bank accounts, it might be on negative. It might be $20 and we're literally living paycheck to paycheck. And then you talk about the poverty in other countries, right? But like how making the comparison of we're really not that far like away from it. We really are not. Is my audio going in and out? Let me know. Can y'all hear me? Let me know. Let me know. I hear me. I don't know if y'all hear me. I'm cutting out? Okay, give me 1 sec, okay? I might have to disconnect and come back. Everybody, can y'all hear me? Let me know. Drop a rabbit in the chat. Can you hear me? You can hear me fine. So you heard everything. You can't hear me? No what? Loud and clear. Okay. So it might be your audio, JP. Usually I go by the with the most what is the popular vote here. Sometimes your audio can be in and out. I know it does that to me on my headphones while I'm on YouTube. So thank you. Hey, love, is it Love Tea? Thank you for being here, love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, shout out to everybody from the Icamel. Shout out to the Icamel gang, y'all. Shout out to Icamel. He's doing awesome. We love some Icamel over here. Uh, so where I was going with this is that the issue of poverty and homelessness and what people have and don't have is very complex, right? Very complex. Love fee. Thank you, love. I think I said it right. All right. We were talking about my pronunciation and how crazy I can get. So, hey, the last Ronan. You're sick today? Oh, thank you. Well, get better, Bo. Get better. I know, right? We love Mel. So it's things like that, though, and conversations like this that we need to continue to keep having, right? But it's statements like the hotline is a joke and the homelessness housing is not an issue, it's not a whole it's shit like that that I'm like, I just want to debate you so bad about it because I want to truly understand, like, are you coming from a place of trying to seek to understand, or are you just making some blatant statements like this as a person that presumes to know a lot on this topic? I don't know a lot on this topic, but I think it's best to just go about it that way versus acting like we do know a lot. Just saying. All right, let's get it together. Yeah, it's scary that she said that about the people, the helplines. It really does scare me. And then also her understanding of the medical tourism. Like when she said something about, people. I swear, like that shit threw me off when we were talking about it. The people that do medical tourism. I'm like, well, I've never heard of anybody who's struggling with mental health issues or trying to let me put it this way. I've never heard of anybody who's having, say, a psychotic break have to travel to, say, Thailand, right, to address that. I've never in my life. Um, and I've never heard of anybody picking up calls from a helpline, a mental health helpline, from a different country. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. But let's talk. Let's go.
in the application, and we can track it through the camera in your phone.
I'm going to try to maybe go back a little bit.
And what our application does is it'll ask you questions daily. So it'll ask you, are you the same things that they'll ask you right now at treatment centers, like, are you having any thoughts of suicide or self harm, or we've got different questions from evidence based scales, and so right now that's all they use to diagnose you or to track your severity. But what we do is we also do voice analysis, so we can detect depression in the voice, we can detect anxiety in the voice, we can detect post traumatic stress disorder. If you tell me, that you're fine, we could say your voice is very flatline and it's showing that he's disconnected from his emotions.
Kevin, you should really ask her what evidence-based means. That's really what Kevin and Rosa, thank you for becoming a member. Kevin should really, 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 really be asking her, what does evidence-based mean? Because she's talking about using evidence-based scales. What does that even mean? Because some people don't understand it unless you've been through the actual work of understanding or even developing of some of these questions. Because I'm telling you, if she understood what that meant, she would not be calling the hotlines a joke. She really wouldn't. She has no idea. I'm saying she's a scammer, Violetta. I don't get that the voice thing, as I know people whose voice is always flatline. Um, yeah, I mean, that's a hard detector. So say like I said, if you ask me how I'm doing today, maybe my voice is off versus other times, maybe that's what she means. I'm not really sure. But, Kevin is just doing YouTube. He's a YouTube financial commentator who is doing a favor for Mark Leda at this point because I have no idea how this girl came about this situation here. And this guy currently he's doing videos on the war going on right now between the two different situations worldwide. And it's like that's where his focus is at and where the money's going and what's going, and he's got a huge following. I mean, the guy is at 1.88 million subs, but clearly there's a connection there. How do they come about knowing each other, right? How they got to know each other?
Oh my
Exhibiting
gosh.
symptoms of PTSD. So the voice is actually very rich in data. So we validate what you answered. I'm fine. I'm like, doesn't seem like you're fine. And then we also do biofeedback. So we track your distress levels, blood pressure, all of that in the application. And we can track it through the camera in your phone. And so you really don't need anything but a cell phone to use our application. And that's a way for us to analyze which patients are at highest risk for relapse or self-harm or public harm, and which patients are okay, are doing well, and are able to step down.
Mm.
And so once you have that, for the more severe patients, you can use something like the virtual reality system. And so with Amanda, what we did, because she was a sex worker and she was also addicted to crack cocaine was her drug of choice. So we did a lot of different therapies with her in virtual reality just to get her used to it. So putting her in relaxing environments, doing mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, doing things that are more calming. And then her therapist also worked with her by putting her in triggering environments. And before she was cleared to be released into outpatient care, which unfortunately she never had the opportunity to be released because of the tragedy. But but before she was cleared for it to be released, we actually put her in a virtual reality version of Skid Row. So there were tents everywhere. There were prostitutes. There was drugs. We measured biofeedback, how she was feeling. We measured how long it took for her to calm down.
All this measuring file feedback. Measuring voice, measuring this and measuring that. And if she died of natural causes, how come that wasn't also like y'all got her on all these things, right? You would think that her physical health would have been monitored a little bit different, no? It's interesting because how do I say this? When you start a new diet, typically they recommend you to, hey, go see your doctor. You do some blood. That is the recommended thing. You don't just want to, especially say that if I've been eating, which you eat fast food, horrible, horrible diet every day. You start a exercise, thing. Sometimes it's recommended that you get your blood work tested, right? Right. Make sure your lipids and your bloods and your HC whatever levels. I'm not a medical professional. But, if your cholesterol is high, maybe there's certain exercises that you need to kinda be mindful, heart disease, all this other stuff. This exposure therapy, why wouldn't it be, like, measured next to, like, the physical health? Like, making sure that she's also treating, the heart, any other physical aspects. When was the last time that she actually had, say, a physical before even engaging in any of this stuff? Because that would be the equivalent of whole health treatment, right? Mm. Test subjects basically, not treatment. Testing of your whatever that ish is. The fact that she's forcing people into treatment is a huge red flag. The addict needs to want to get clean. Interesting. Mm. Right, Brooke. Right. Um, there you go. She's not a licensed anything, but she's hanging out with the licensed people apparently, because a lot of the verbiage that she's using is from, unless she's just Google searching everything. Yeah, I don't understand how someone's measures something that is so subjective. Mm,
We measured how long it took for her craving levels to go down. We determined if she was able to use the coping skills and strategies that she learned with her therapist um, in a triggering environment with the fight or flight feeling. And if she couldn't, her therapist would step in and say, remember what we talked about, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath,
Yeah.
and then go silent again and let her apply those skills on her own. So we knew that when she was going to be released, she was much less likely to relapse because she was not as triggered by the sight of a tent or by the sight of someone harming themselves or by the sight of seeing prostitutes walking back and forth. And so not everybody is a 90-day person in
Right.
residential treatment. Not everyone is. Some people, like Amanda, required 7 months in residential in order to step down. Someone else might only need 3 months. Someone else
required. Some people required. Okay.
might need 5 months. So being able, but you can't tell when you just ask someone, how are you feeling? Amanda on day 30 wanted to leave. She was like, I'm fine and everything's good. And she told me the whole time she was just craving crack, like the whole time. And she did an interview 28 days, 90 days sober, 28 days into treatment. And she was heavily craving. So you need to be able to monitor that person, not just go off of what they're saying. We need to inject science into mental health care.
You need to inject science into mental health care. They routinely triggered and frightened a woman who died of cardiac arrhythmia. That's what I'd like to know. What was she doing before she died? Was she doing some kind of exposure therapy? Like, we're never going to know what she was doing before she died. Because that would be helpful, right? This woman who was exposed to a lot of elements, skid row, prostitution. According to Lima, she had been beaten. A lot had happened. So she does a little therapy. I don't know, like what killed her exactly? The exposure? Did the exposure therapy have something? Did she do therapy the day before? Like what happened exactly? Exactly. And where's the science to back that up? Did she do VR? We and this is a great Great statement. We measure what is your sample size. They don't disclose. I mean, she's willing to disclose people's mental health stuff and their stuff, but she's not willing to disclose the data that they've collected. You have to have something to measure against, right? What is if Amanda Rabb is one of many, many, many people that they have treated, okay? Okay, what did it look like for the others? It shouldn't be that hard, just like I said before. It shouldn't be that hard to find out the data behind this this company. It's the same thing. It shouldn't be that hard to find out what college this woman graduated from. It should not. It should not be hard. I'm telling you. You Google search me. You gonna find. I was in commencement. I was in the freaking uh, booklet front page. I was all over the university that I graduated from twice. So it's not that hard. So you didn't give her a physical check. Hold up. Before stressing her out. I'd like to know what happened. Now, some of this might not necessarily be, say that she was doing therapy or say that something happened. Like what led up to her just dying? Because you have to understand, Amanda Rabb was a woman that was exposed to all kinds of stuff, right? So what did it now? What happened now? What happened? We don't know. Yeah, there should be a baseline for each individual, not sample from who knows how many. That is why she pushes the don't be homeless on people because that was her supposed excuse or comeback for the death of Amanda. There should always be a baseline to something. There should always be something to measure against.
So going from having a building for detox, then residential where people live there all together. Then you have outpatient where people might have these tiny homes of their own, or instead, what I would do is kind of have like these bigger homes where it's communal living room, communal space, but then like sober living. So you put someone in charge and you constantly drug test these the people that are living there. And again, not everyone necessarily has to have an addiction for living there. There could be women with children.
I want to ask you really quick, but just on this, what's the difference then between residential and like the tiny homes versus maybe communal homes? Like whether it's tiny home or communal, we could talk about that, but the difference between those two stages, I'm confused there.
Yeah, so residential is you live there 24/7. Outpatient is it's a separate building. So you're gonna have a home and there's gonna be a separation between you going to the facility during the day. So it's kind of like going to school during the day and then going.
I was totally muted, wasn't I? I was saying Kevin should have gotten someone in the mental health field, right? To answer that. Yeah, I was muted. That's what I stopped to say that.
Home. So even if you've got like these 4 football fields and the outpatient facilities all the way over there, but the most important thing in all of the communities that we create, even if it's even not mental health or drug related and it's just addressing the housing problem. So one of the interesting things that you mentioned was someone renting a $1,500 studio in downtown Los Angeles. Can they instead, for affordable housing, have a $500 a month studio, 45 minutes out? Yes, in theory, but it only works if you have a bunch of things around them like jobs. If they have to commute 45 minutes into downtown and they don't have transportation. So transportation, jobs, and all of that need to be accounted for to make it easy.
It's on this residential. I'm still a little lost here. So you said that's 24/7. Is this like, is it like you can't leave kind of thing? Is that what level 2 is?
Residential, you cannot leave. 24/7 gated.
Okay.
Outpatient, you just go there during the day. A lot of these, like they're like sober living homes. So I'm not a big fan of living by yourself, like these tiny homes, because a lot of people need community if they're struggling. So and plus, like being in such a tiny, what is the guy's name from Invisible People?
Gosh, yeah, he does not like the shacks, the metal shacks. Oh my gosh,
he called them something for a lawnmower. I thought it was really
lawnmower shacks. That's right. So let me ask you that.
That's very depressing. So being able to have, a bigger property where you have a room, it's a sober living home. So there's other people in the kitchen cooking. There's but it would be like this is only for women. This is only for men. So you have that separation.
Okay, so
that's usually how the sober living homes work.
That makes sense. Now, I have seen, because I think those are also sometimes called group homes, and like private investors put in like the towel dispensers and the fire extinguishers, and that I've seen that before. Now, the group homes, from my experience in real estate, are very distributed. They're whatever investor's willing to make a group home, that's where it is. So going to this 4 football field analogy, if we have outpatient, could it possibly be that everybody has their own, tiny home, and this is where they have a desk, they have their own privacy, they have their own bed. I don't know if they have their own toilet or not, whatever, but they also then have community. So maybe here's the outside seating area, here's an inside communal area. Could that way you still have
that could totally work.
That would work. Okay.
That would definitely work, and maybe people would feel better about that.
So the idea is this: put all the people that are dealing with recovery in a football field, like a camp, gate them, fence them in, make a community, separate the men from the women, and possibly they could all have their own toilet. Maybe one room shares a toilet when whatever. Just thinking out loud. And because they need community. This is how it goes. Okay. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I'm just thinking of group homes. I'm thinking about residential treatment centers that I've seen. And knowing that this is temporary, a group home is supposed to be temporary. A treatment center is supposed to be temporary. And I'm not talking about 9 months temporary, 5 months, like it just depends. Everybody's different. But somehow putting people that are struggling within there's so issues in the same space, that is going to be a good situation that's going to give people community, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I mean, I don't know. Is it? Aren't we already doing that a little bit?
And even if you have some that are slightly bigger in case it is a family or it is a mother with a child. To take into account people's individual circumstances. But at the end of the day, if you put these people in this 4 football fields community and they live there long term, depression will ensue. I'm stuck here, and it's just,
you have the right to leave.
But not even the right to leave. It would more likely be like a 1-year program. Like you have to.
Depression will ensue. Okay, like, can you give more context to that? What? I don't know. Hey, Pokomaru. Kate says, so her plan is to round up all these people and put them in camps. Yeah, that's gonna work. Well, and I was thinking, I was like, ideally, okay, so she says no individual housing for folks. Not the tiny home for folks. She says put them all in one big house, create community, but there might be depression because we have them locked up, and then you might have some women with children. So that might not be ideal. So I'm just like, what? It takes a bit of experience, right? To actually, like, when you're in the field where you have family members that are dealing with stuff like this, you kind of tend to understand a little bit of like what works and what doesn't work. Having worked in a couple of residential treatment centers, I could tell you that um, there's been a huge shutdown of treatment centers because people have noticed that this kind of treatment doesn't always work. It is better to help the person progress back to the community, to deal with what is going on there. Sometimes you don't even have to do exposure therapy for it because they're going to be confronted with those issues that they have to confront, right? But part of it too is some people are going to have to want to accept the treatment, accept the services, take accountability for the things that they need to do. You cannot be locking everybody else up. You can't, because it's an environment that can really be a bad situation. What was the one experiment? Shit, I learned this in college. Was it the Sanford experiment? Y'all remember that? The prison experiment? I think it was the Sanford. Remind me in the chat. Some of you guys may know it. But it's the one where everybody's locked up in the little, like, I don't know, camp-like situation. People were divided between the prisoners and the officers, and you had people. Thank you, General Jenny. I was like, I knew General Jenny was gonna know this one. And this is you have to be careful. Now, here's the other thing that really gets to me, right? Because it goes back to the Florida shuffle. Some of the people that are hired to run these institutions are not qualified. As someone that, listen, let me tell you, my very first treatment center, I didn't have a bachelor's degree when I started working there. I didn't. Look, the thumbs up went up. Shout out to me. I didn't have a bachelor's degree when I first started working there. I didn't. We did not. I didn't. I got my bachelor's degree after having worked there, maybe a year and a half in. It gave me that experience. I was getting education in the field that I wanted to get in while I was there, right? Some institutions hire you like that. There are institutions out there that say, well, you need to have a psychology degree for this. It would be preferable for you to have a psychology degree versus a teaching degree in history. And some of these places need people to work that they're willing to hire the history teacher that needs a side job. That's what they do. They're willing to hire just about anybody. If you have a biology degree, they might hire you for a couple bucks to do some type of supervision on this situation here. That's why things like the Florida Shuffle, that's why institutions with people that are not qualified exist. They do. There's no empathy. They're just doing a 9 to 5. It pays well. It pays big when you're working overnights and supervising, watching the center. It really does. But some of these centers, at least shoot, one, two that I used to work at are now closed. They're closed because they realize by doing research and some of this stuff, it doesn't always work. It is not a conducive environment. It isn't. It is better to actually be out and really do more outpatient than inpatient services. It is. Just my thought.
Complete this program. You ended up homeless. We're here to help you. You are going to get help. And so, so it shouldn't be, okay, you can just come and go whenever you please. If you are not choosing one of these options, then you're putting yourself at risk. So to protect you, to work in your best interest for you, because you are putting yourself at risk by being homeless, you have to complete a 1-year program. And so basically the most important thing is treating people with dignity, because in Amanda's case, she was treated so poorly that she had no self-worth when I first, met her. And by the end of it, she not only loved herself, but she was so proud of herself and what she had accomplished. And the reason that I'm so confident in her recovery was because not only was she going around teaching people what she had learned, but she was also like really, really proud of how far she'd come. And she dealt with the self-worth factor. So drugs and alcohol are mood alterers. If you don't know how to alter your mood, and when you're not taking anything, you feel like you're not enough, and you haven't dealt with why it is, because it doesn't even have to be drugs or alcohol, like workaholics. I'm not enough. I just have to stay in the office and please people, please as many people as possible, whatever.
No idea what that's like.
I saw you walking on a treadmill and typing when I was like,
yeah.
Kevin. I'm like, so, oh, okay.
I gotta ask you. So the no come and go, the 1-year program, it sounds to me like those are for the people who went through the detox residential, then outpatient. What about for the people who have fallen on, like they're there, folks who are capable, they could get a job, and they just became homeless, they just got evicted, they're just at the start. Can those folks be entered directly into outpatient, but then maybe have the right, like, here's your key, come and go as you want, try to get a job, you need to be here and shower, you've got that option, something like that.
Yeah. So in that case, if they are not abusing drugs and they don't have an eating disorder and it's not a mental health condition, then what I would do is therapy. So something along the lines of telehealth. So, or
if they're not abusing drugs and they don't, why an eating disorder? It's like this like control factor. This is why codependency exists sometimes, like you're right, nonsense. Forcing someone will never work. It will never work. It will never work. And what if they don't want to do therapy, but they're doing fine? Who decides? Who decides? Forcing rehab isn't the solution. They have to want to do the work that goes along with detox. Absolutely. This is really tough for me to understand. My 20-year-old daughter had a mental health and psychological issues since 12. I spent years begging for help and being brushed off. 4 months ago, I lost her to OD. I'm so sorry, Leah. I am so sorry for your loss. Mm, this is definitely a hard one. They're already doing that with drug and diversion courts. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. A narcissist needs to control others. Yes, Nebulous, thank you. If it was this easy, jails wouldn't actually be somewhat effective in curbing addiction, says generally Jenny. She's just mooching off the system. Mm. Sounds, Leah, I'm so sorry. I'm in pieces every day and try to think of every possible thing I should have, I should have done. I feel shame and guilt I didn't go and lock her up myself. I'm so sorry for your loss. Nonsense says my sister goes back to prison in a couple of weeks. She got treatment in prison last time and completed a drug program. Oops, she was fixed though, right? Prison isn't rehab. No, it's not. Prison isn't rehab. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of biology that goes behind addiction too. Like I have a couple of relatives that struggle with addiction. So I know like, certain family members are more prone to addictive behaviors because of what, our history, our family history has shown us. So I know specifically where some of my relatives, they don't drink, they don't do certain things because of that pattern. But I would agree with you. Like prison doesn't fit. Shit gets in prison all the time too. People get drugs in prisons, right? There's drug wars in prisons. That's a real thing. The supplies can happen in there too. The corruption is real all over, right? There is no fix all. Truly, there isn't. And unfortunately, a lot of this is by choice, right? A lot of it is by choice. Exactly. Exactly, Chico.
Or has that in the application. Tracking, regardless, you're going to have to track people's mental health progress, even if it's not an addiction, because it could be anything, and someone could all of a sudden have a bad day and want to end it all.
Yeah.
So, being homeless is a way of, even if you start off okay, you will become very depressed. You will feel like you're stuck, and you'll end up with a lot of problems. So there needs to be someone for you to talk to. So in that case, the most economical way to do it is telehealth sessions. So they're just video calls while they're being monitored. And then at the same time, you have, you're basically fast tracked. So you don't have to go through detox, residential, outpatient. And so again, if we base this off of the scholarship program of how we broke it down, what we were doing for Amanda, we did the next step, an outpatient is her going to somewhere during the day and then having that gap of freedom in the middle of the day, and then having and then being able to come home and sleep.
Oh,
The internet went
we
out.
lost Lima there for a moment. We'll circle right back. Give it a shot. Lima returned pretty quickly. Oh, there we go. You're back. You're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, once you complete residential and you do outpatient, then after that should be telehealth. So just like video calls with someone and job training. So you can fast track somebody. So job training, and then after that should be job placement, and they should still live in that tiny community. But a big part of that should be financial training, because too many Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and the more money they make, the more money they spend, and it's a huge problem. And it's because the education is not there. So a part of that should be, financial education with the job training, job placement. They should be allowed to live there for a certain amount of time, while like 3 months while they're in their job saving money, and then help them find a home, affordable living somewhere outside of the community.
Sure.
But they continue to do the telehealth sessions.
I want to ask you this, if you don't mind. I want to.
I guess I'm confused because a lot of this is already happening. So are we like reinventing the wheel here? We have group homes. We have residential treatment centers that are meant for like 24/7 care. Like, what is it that Lima is saying that's anything different now? Is she just saying that they should just all be in one area forever, forever? Exactly. It's like it's already. Thank you, Stephanie. All of this already exists. It really does. That she's not saying anything new. No concept here is new. Like, sometimes it gets to me because people think that they can reinvent something and it's like, girl, this is already here. It's already. The only difference is she wants people to stay longer than what the allotted time. One of the questions that Lima has to ask herself is why do things exist as such a time frame? Why is there such a thing as a 90-day? Who said 90 days was a time that somebody needed to get better? And I say this because I remember when I worked, for the government you know, I built this program and 90-day was the magic number because and I need to pull all this information before I even just spew it like she does. But there is there are studies that say that 90-day for a short-term intervention, it's helpful. But certain things aren't meant for 90-day interventions. I get that. So like drug abuse, maybe some mental health issues take longer, right? And anything after that needs to be referred out. Like that's how typically some of these 90-day programs work. But I think what she's really not necessarily understanding is that part of wanting to get better is the self. If she's going by the experiences with her sisters, right? I don't know what her sisters, outside of what she's disclosed to everybody, we really don't know a whole lot, right? The sisters they're adults. They have to self-advocate for some of these things. There has to be a point where they realize, yeah, I deal with this and this is a medication. This is what happens to me when I have, this type of situation happen. I have a friend who's schizophrenic, okay? It's not a secret. They know that they're schizophrenic, right? Um, they know what happens. They have a really good way of saying, like, I know what happens to me when I am, about to have this type of episode or when this is happening to me. I know self-awareness. I know, and this is part of helping people, teaching them that self-awareness, because some people just it takes them a minute to truly understand what their diagnosis is. Schizophrenia is not the end all be all, believe it or not. People do function out there and they can do very well in society. Okay. But a lot of it has to do with their self awareness of what that mental illness is, of that brain disease. What does it mean? Okay. What are the triggers? How do they know? Who do they call when they know they're about to have an episode? Because typically there's like some red flags or some warnings before it happens. They'll call people like, listen, this is what's going on. Maybe the medicine's not working. You see a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist, you see it so what, every 3 to 6 months to determine if the medication that you're on is still like where it needs to be at. Maybe there needs to be an increase, right? Nonsense. In my opinion, what she's doing is dangerous. Exposure therapy, and who knows who's monitoring things. Are they licensed to do any of this? Whether it's on paper, okay? to track down all of this, exposure therapy, to track down all the data between the audio and the biofeedback and everything that they're doing, right? But so much of this has to do with the person being also self-aware. Just because you're struggling with a mental illness doesn't mean that you are not self-aware of your surroundings. And that is the biggest insult that you can give my friend who is a schizophrenic. You would be insulting them by saying, "You don't know what's happening to you right now." You tend to develop that self-awareness as you go. I have friends that are bipolar. They know when certain things happen to them. And I might pick up on some things that they may not. But that is how you build community within your own community, not with the other people that are struggling with drug issues or mental health issues. Community is within the community that you're in. It could start with your family. It could start with a couple of people that you grew up with and then you went to school with, right? To help you out, to take, like, if it's something that maybe you forgot to take your meds, or maybe you forgot to something, or maybe an episode triggered something, that can happen too. It doesn't immediately mean that you stay stuck at a 90-day rehab center or a 3, 4, 6-month rehab center and then that's it. No. No, no, no.
I want to know how
Let me say one more thing. It almost seems like she wants to do mental health policing. That's the word that I was looking for. Like there's law enforcement in mental health, right? There's a level of policing that no, when it comes from a place of love, there's no policing, right? There shouldn't be. I promise you, and I get the sense that there might be some animosity between Lima and the sisters, right? Now, God knows what is in between. I get the sense, but there wouldn't be a whole lot of animosity if y'all allowed these twins, these adult women, to do what they need to do to get better. Not lock them up, not take away shit, not like, believe it or not, people with mental illness can make decisions. Okay, not everybody needs to be in a conservatorship. Not everybody needs to be, and even if they're doing decisions that you and I wouldn't necessarily do, maybe they're just doing decisions because they want to do decisions. Okay, maybe Britney Spears wants to, dance with knives. Okay, fuck it. That's what she wants to do. Let her be, right? Whatever it may be. But let's not insult people's intelligence by saying, no, 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 I'm gonna lock you up right now. Because you can't have a bunch of people in one place and then think you're building community that way. That's stupid. It's reckless.
how do you I mean, let's say you had 100 throughout the state of these 4 football field communities, and each of them, or maybe they're larger, maybe they're 8 football fields, whatever's
Imagine.
required, and you had 500 people or 500 person capacity at each. Maybe you have 200-300 of them, whatever we need, or closer to 300 at this point. Can you, or rather, how can you compel people to go? Because I mean, I do think that
You
the
have to
people
force
who,
it. It has to be a choice of the state. You have
oh
to force
wow,
it.
okay,
You have to. If I can't get somebody to come in and have a meal in a homeless shelter, not commit to being clean, not commit to anything, just walk in, eat, and you can leave. Just have a meal. I can't even get them, and I can see them outside the windows just laying on the streets, and they're so skinny.
I don't want to fucking eat. What if I'm that person and I say, I don't want to fucking eat with you? Who the fuck are you? Why would I want to sit down and eat in a meal with you? Who the fuck are you? Why do I want they have to come in and they have to eat because they're so skinny? I don't want to eat. I don't know you. What if you put shit in my food? And that's not paranoia, but that's the real God honest truth. I don't know you. What you going to thank you, Cheeks. You going to put a feeding tube down my throat cuz I don't want to eat? Can you blame them? There's a girl who's out here trying to get me inside to eat her food. The fuck do I look like? And I'm cussing because I'm just like, the audacity. If I have a sign that says I'm hungry, that doesn't mean that I want you to give me your lunch or your food. Okay? Doesn't mean that you could offer it, but I can decline it. It doesn't mean that now you're force feeding me. You're not going to do that. Get out of here with that. And Mary says schizophrenic people I have known are the most vulnerable being controlled because of stigma. Yes. So, and I'm so glad you said that. My bro-in-law could seriously have like a decade of issues if our family pushed him into our care. Hmm. I mean, they're so skinny, guys. They're so skinny. They're out there and they look hungry. Just come in here. Yes, come in here and eat a meal because you look skinny. How do I know you didn't put shit in the food? That's just being real. I don't even like the people that prepare my food sometimes. I don't like to go out to eat a whole lot. Okay? So now you're forcing me to eat? In addition to dealing with all these issues? Get the hell out of here with that. Get out of here.
You have to be able to say, you hurting yourself is you hurting a person. So
Right.
you are not allowed to hurt a person in this country. And because you're making these poor decisions and because you're physically incapable of making, because it's a proven fact that the brain of someone abusing drugs cannot function in these ways until you get clean enough to be able to say, oh, okay, I get it now. Thank
So
you.
So you what a way to take somebody's dignity. You're physically incapable of making decisions of your own. Look, she's pointing right at the brain. You're physically incapable of making these decisions. It is a proven fact. Therefore, sit down and eat your food. Girl, you give me concentration camp vibes. Like, what are you doing? And this is just commentary. Y'all don't, I'm just saying, okay? This is just commentary. In my opinion, this is dangerous. And if had you sat in an ethics type of class, in a, psychology, ethical behavior class, this is the kind of BS that if they she needs a mirror. Like, play this mirror in front of her. Like, put this mirror in front of her, let her sit in an ethics class and allow her to write down all of the ethical violations that you're making by making these statements, starting with forcing people to do shit. These right here are ethical violations that in any psychology, sociology, abnormal psychology, any helping field class, any behavioral science, anything, you would have to sit there and just think about, oh shit, and put things into perspective, the fact that you really cannot be doing some of this. You shouldn't. It's crazy. And anybody sitting next to you that has a behavioral science degree in any capacity endorsing this shit should be concerned. They should be reviewed for that as well. That's just crazy.
this is similar to why suicide is actually illegal. It's harming somebody, it's harming yourself. Obviously not punishable if it happened, which is very horrible. But
Wait, is suicide illegal? I'm not I'm serious. I is suicide illegal? Is it illegal? Thank you, Spooky. It's illegal. Technically, yes. Okay, I'm asking. I really don't know. I've never heard of that. 199. Thank you, Spooky Fox. Take us to church, Rabbit. You said yes? Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, you can get a 5150. That's absolutely right. Okay. All right. So, what laws are you breaking? I'm seriously. I'm gonna Google search this. Hmm. And as soon as I Google it, nothing tells me. I'm looking for a law that says that suicide is illegal. Hold up. Interesting. See, I pulled up the Guardian. It says suicide is still treated as a crime in at least 20 countries. Okay. San Diego assisted suicide laws and penalties. Okay. Decriminalization of attempted suicide laws. National Institution of Health. That's a government website. Interesting. See, suicide is defined as a death caused by self directed injurious behavior with the intent to die as a result of the behavior. Suicide attempt, on the other hand, hold up. I mean, I'm just kind of curious. Suicide attempt, on the other hand, is a non-fatal, self-directed, potentially injurious behavior with any intent to the behavior. I'm just trying to see, like, can y'all cite me the law on that one? Who are you going to charge? Right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Nikki says Google penalties for an attempt. Okay. So penalties for an attempt. This is interesting. Attempted suicide. No, this is great conversation because I'm like, I'm kind of curious to know. There is suicide legislation, penalty and okay, that's Wikipedia. I don't know how much y'all trust Wikipedia. In some places, keep in mind, attempted suicide is a class 3 felony, up to 10 years in prison. Okay, so attempted suicide, but suicide. Thank you so much for the $2, love. Shout out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, who would you charge? That right, but the attempt, I guess, is a penalty act. Thank you, Nikki, again for the heads up on that. Yeah, there's obviously a reason why the attempted suicide is not punished criminally anymore. Yeah, attempted if there's another victim. I don't think life insurance pays out for suicide. Not sure. I don't think so either. In some, um, who are you? But felony made a great question. Like, who you gonna charge? Right? Health insurance won't cover suicide. If you go to the hospital, it's not covered and you'll have a huge bill. Attempted suicide, but wouldn't that classified under a mental health? Rachel, thank you for becoming a member. It reminds me of a case where a young woman talked her boyfriend into dying. Oh yes. And he did die. That was such a true crime case. It was a huge Steve, thank you for reminding me of that one. That one was the one where didn't he like go into a truck and he died by like carbon monoxide poisoning or something like that? And there was like she was encouraging it. Michelle Carter, thank you. That was in Massachusetts. That's a little bit different though, right? You got to think about Kevorkian, right? I mean, those are just situations, right? But when you actually do it, you're gonna same as murder. Hold up, says shout out to ooh, I missed your comment. Where'd you go? Prayer partner Eve. Well, when you actually do it, you're gonna same as murder. A person cannot be charged if they are God, right? So the attempt is in some, I guess, states could be a charge. I've never heard of anybody being charged for attempted. I've yet to hear somebody be charged for attempted suicide, but or for suicide for that matter. So I don't know. It's an interesting topic. Interesting topic. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Let me see what you guys are saying. I can't speak for all states, but your hospital stay will be covered because it is still, that's what I thought, Nikki, is it's still a mental health crisis. Now, insurance, if you commit suicide and you're successful, that might be a whole different issue. Robin says, Rabbit, suicide attempts and mental health falls squarely under the parasite? Parent, hold up. Parent, here it is. Patriot, sorry. Parents patri. Sorry about that. And that is the government or any other authority regarded as the legal protector of citizens unable to protect themselves. Wow. In simplest terms, it's Latin for parent of the country or homeland. Under that doctrine, a state or court has parental and protective role over its citizens or other subjects, its jurisdictions. Well, what if the court doesn't have jurisdiction of me? You know? Thank you so much, Nonsense, for putting that 988 number. It is a very triggering topic. Y'all, if there's a number that I forget to drop, let me know. Um, the court doesn't have jurisdiction over me. Just saying. And is that when I should be institutionalized? Should I be institutionalized if I have just a question, if what if I have my family members have committed suicide and my numbers are out there, I'm really, really susceptible and at risk of committing suicide. Mm. Nikki, free rabbit. Yes, free me. Listen, I am just poking the rabbit on you, all right? I'm just poking you to just think about what's being said here. That's all. That's all. Shirley, thank you for becoming a member. Let me keep going, all right? I do not have the answers to everything, but this is conversation.
And drawing that distinction there, that it is illegal is what I'm trying to say. But there, I want to ask you actually what some folks are saying in the comments, and that's why not maybe just bring them food? If they're hungry out there, why don't we just go around and deliver them meals? I mean, Chipotle does it all day long.
Yeah, so I can't speak on behalf of the LA Mission because I think that there were like some legal things that they weren't allowed to. I don't want to speak on their behalf. I'm not sure why we were not. I was told we couldn't just take the food outside. So I can't speak on their behalf. I'm not sure why. But at the
Probably
same
needed
time,
some hand washing station and some restaurant license
I
or
don't know.
something
There's
stupid.
always something going on. Like if
Yeah.
the food sits out and it's meat, and then they eat it, and then something happens, and then you can get sued or whatever the case is. So they have a million things that they have to cover themselves for policies. And I also know someone at Whole Foods told me that the reason because I remember I went to Whole Foods because I was like, oh my God, they throw away all their food at those bars. They're constantly making fresh food because psychologically, if you see it's empty, you're gonna put less food at the self-serve bars. But if you see that it's full, even if it's at the end of the night, you're more likely to buy more.
The girl can't answer a question, Cheeks. And Animal, thank you for gifting a membership. If you guys received a membership from Animal, thank you, love. I don't know who received it. I think it was Liz H. Make sure you drop some hearts. Listen, what is the answer? That's what I want to know. Like, what is it? She can't answer it straight. Every question that has asked, y'all got to remember the first 25 minutes of this whole interview, 15 minutes of this whole thing, Kevin didn't even get a word in. Okay. I mean, you could see his eyes. It's like, Kevin, are you there?
So they compost the food. They don't throw it away. They compost it. But I asked them, I'm like, can you just donate it? And there was a legal liability with them donating it. It's sick, and then they sue the Whole Foods and all of that.
Right.
So they compost all of the food. But yeah, there's a lot of different factors that their hands are tied in that. But at the end of the day, like the outreach programs, you'll go out and you'll tell people like, hey, you don't have to be clean. You don't have to commit to anything. You try to talk to them. You try to befriend them. Like my mom always said, the worst thing you could do to someone is ignore them. Even if you don't have change, a smile is charity. And just acknowledging them and saying, I'm sorry, I don't have any change. But like going out there and treating them like people and talking to them. But sometimes it's very hard because
it's just very hard. You just don't ignore them, and you just make sure they look like they need a food, they need to eat, right? I don't know which one is it. Emily, thank you for becoming a member, and Chico, thank you for gifting memberships, love. Thank you. I am not taking advice from anybody. Look, I'm just saying, if I am, everybody, just because you're homeless doesn't mean that you have to accept people's charity. It's your charity. I get it. But it doesn't mean that you have to accept it. Like, if I decide to be homeless and it's my right and I'm able to do it, however I get by, whatever your opinions of that may be, I don't need to accept your charity. I don't need to accept your change. I don't need to accept your smile. If I'm asking you for something, then I'm asking you for something. That's it. That's all. But honestly, I don't need to accept your help. One minute you're trying to lock me up into some kind of, football field encampment, and the next minute you want me to accept your, you know, food and come out and eat and whatever. I don't need that. I don't need to do that. That's crazy. Of course, give. If you're so inclined to give, right? But no, not everybody is in need of your charity. You have to kind of evaluate what is it that you're giving and who you're giving to and why. Why is it that you feel the need to give? If I decide to give $100 to somebody and they don't accept it, should I feel bad about it? Maybe evaluate what I could have, like, maybe that $100 I could have donated to an actual homeless shelter, or maybe bought, I don't know, 100 pairs of socks from the Dollar Tree and then handed those socks to the homeless shelter for them to do that. They have the expertise in dealing with what's going on. I'm just an outsider, yo. I can't pretend to know everything that's going on. Leanne, thank you for gifting memberships, love. Thank you, thank you. But no, seriously, like an animal just gifted. Thank you so much, love. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for gifting. It's a lot of entitlement. I must accept your charity. Stop doing that, yo. It's this kind of mentality when we don't see each other as equal just because we have and they don't have. Yeah, clearly there's some people that might have more than I do, or maybe I might have more than them, but I don't live my life looking at that. I really don't. I don't live my life looking at what is unfair. I live my life by what are people expressing as far as what they want and need, you know?
A lot of times they don't want they can't talk, like they can't have a functioning conversation with you because their mindset is so off. So it's a really challenging, and again, like I am the sister and a family member of people who have mental health conditions and addiction conditions, and from somebody that is so passionate, it's because I don't want my loved one to die. Like I don't want my loved one to suffer on the streets.
No, the
And I will,
streets is horrible.
so it's like I know too many families that are crying and calling me all the time. I get thousands of emails a day from people like, "Can you help my sister? Can you help my daughter? Can you help my son? Like, we can't find this person. This person's homeless. Like, this person's overdosing, and the state won't do anything about it, or whatever the case is." So it's like these people shouldn't be allowed to do that to themselves because they're not in a mental place where they can, and that's the core of it.
This was very interesting. I mean, even just this mention here about the Whole Foods basically composting food because there's too much liability. I mean, it seems like it almost seems too easy. National Guard, pick up food from Whole Foods. Liability gets washed from Whole Foods. National Guard's now giving food.
For your community, what I would suggest is you make a deal with Whole Foods and you sign over the liability.
Exactly.
And that's it. And then you can literally pick up all of the food and take it to the community. And so that's something that I've also looked into. I would absolutely love to work with you if you do that, because I have a ton of resources.
Oh my God, give this girl something to do. I would absolutely love to work with you. Chico, thank you for gifting memberships. Thank you, thank you. And then El El Iria. El Iria, thank you for gifting memberships. I did it. An animal, thank you for gifting memberships. El Iria. El Iria. He is not. He is not. And I would like to work with you, and I would like to work with you, girl. Like I think she just wants her hands in every pocket in this issue.
And I have a huge proven track record. I've worked with numerous families. Amanda was a public case, but
I have a huge proven track record, and yeah, no data to support your track record. Where are the numbers that support X, Y, and Z?
Worked with dozens of families, and I'm yet to have a patient relapse. Because it's a very simple formula, and a lot of people will call it a miracle.
I have yet to have a patient relapse. I mean, we only had one pass away, right? But we don't count that one because, you know, she was clean. Who knows? I mean, that's what it said. She was clean, right? Nothing happened. Everything was fine. She was dealing with fine, you know. She didn't have any therapy beforehand. She was clean. She was clean. See, I don't know. Leanne, thank you for gifting memberships. And Animal, thank you for gifting memberships. I don't know where's this track record, yo. Thank you guys for gifting. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah, what happened to Bam Margera? I mean, listen, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to his IG, but he's all over the place. Right, right. She said they've never. She has a proven track record. Tanja, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. Thank you. Look at my track record. Girl, look at my track record. I can't even source her damn right, right. And where's her sources at? Where? But her track record's huge. Let's just keep going.
And a lot of people will say, "Oh my God, these cases are so difficult," but it's a very simple formula. It's the same formula for everyone, but it's not a one size fits all treatment because we're monitoring and tracking their progress and we're seeing when is the right time. But it's always a 1 year plan. It's always a 1 year plan.
It seems like what could be so wonderful for the nonprofit community, your organization or other organizations working on solving this, would be get everybody. Ideally, it's not going to happen. There's not enough room for this, but get as many people as possible in one place where you have enough space where everybody gets their own room or tiny home or small home or whatever it is designated for their families. They have communal areas. They have a safe place for 3 meals a day. They have the triage if it's necessary for psych to residential to outpatient. People who are capable can come and go as they'd like. At least they have a place to get clothing, food, and shelter, which seem like they're literally the most basic human needs.
And the way that you do that is by having different tiers. So you have certain tiers where they get to keep stepping down in order for them to go in and out of the community. So if you gate the community and someone is, let's say they're at the very beginning of outpatient, so now they get to live in a tiny home and they get to commute in this community to a day program. But they shouldn't be allowed to leave the community immediately. They should.
Oh my God, here we go with the gating. Control, control. Chico, let me get your device, all right? I'm going to take it away from you if you don't stop. Chico just gifted 5 members, you guys. If you got a membership from Chico, please drop a heart in the chat. And El Iria, yes, I said it right. Also gifted memberships, okay? Thank you, thank you. Y'all are awesome. Y'all, she said gated. Gated. Thank you, Chico. You're done. Stop it, Chico. She wants to make sure that everybody's gated. Lock them up. That's the formula. A successful formula. Shows that are very successful. The main reason for Bam's life being great has nothing to do with Lima. He has a loving girlfriend and true friends who care for him. There you go. B Tim says, "Yeah, Meet Kevin didn't seem to do much research on this." Damn it, Meet Kevin. She reminds me of who'd you say? Hold up. She reminds me of the version of Tim Ballard. Girl, no. She's got a thing about the overeat eating disorders, and she hasn't said a whole lot about bulimia, right? She wants everybody locked up. Spooky Fox, thank you for becoming a member. I want to know when she has a dozen. She's got a track record. She's got dozens of family and resources. That's what she said. That's what she said, right? I'm using her words. This is just commentary, girl. That's all. That's all. I know you be sending some of your people over here. Listen, chill out. I'm just giving commentary. Okay? Part of mental health industry and field is being able to take some commentary to what people are saying.
Still be monitored during until, let's say, 2 weeks in, and they've been doing well. So now they get to step down another tier where they're allowed to exit the community and then come back into the community. But it has to be a slow transition. You can't just hand freedom over like that and then boom.
So you'd almost have to figure out who is capable of having that freedom without hurting themselves.
You figure it out. So for us, the way that we figure it out is we figure it out by tracking them through our app. So they answer questions on a regular basis. Lack of interaction raises your risk. So negative interaction raises your risk. If we detect something, even if you say you're fine and we detect that you're not fine, it raises your risk.
You know what is so scary about, even more scarier, just to add a little bit more to this? The tracking of our mental health in apps. Like I was talking last time we were talking about this, and I thought, man, this might be a good idea. But then I started even thinking about it further. So there is an app that was just developed to help victims of domestic violence to get themselves out of such situations, or at least be able to tell what those red flags are based on text messages with partner, right? And I just thinking, I said, we have this reliability on apps, on social media, on AIs, on robots, on things like that. Like what happens because mental health is, us, right? It's our mental health. But what if the shit goes crazy and there is no app? There is nothing like that. There is no monitoring. This is why it's important for a person to want to take some accountability and ownership of their own mental health and treatment issue versus relying on an app that, I mean, tomorrow the Wi-Fi could end. Tomorrow we could be in a different situation where we have no electricity or no electronics. And then what? We have to rely. What's going to happen on the person that relies completely on their apps or phones to measure their mental health? You know how it works? Talk therapy actually works. The one-to-one actually works. The face-to-face actually works. I think COVID has made us so detached from being able to just be in a room with people too, right? If something like this were to happen, like what is the backup plan? What is it? Mm. Let's be real. Lima just pushing the app because it sounds great to investors, because you can push that out at a wider audience. Absolutely. I'm anti-tech now, says Simba. You're triggered now? Oh no. Hold on. I refuse. No more period tracking. Let me tell. Ain't everything tracked? I was thinking about this. I said, I'm tracking my carbs. I'm tracking my calories. I'm tracking the weight. I'm tracking my. If I'm wearing an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, my heart monitor. Okay, everything is being tracked, and and there's goals, and I'm always trying to move from one goal to the next. Everything. And then I was thinking, I was like, I remember back in the day when I was very much younger, and the coolest thing that you could have was a phone book. Little contact phone books, the flip ones. You used to get the little Lisa Frank ones where you write your number, make sure you put their last name first, and you try to write them very neatly. And now it's like, I don't think I can memorize anybody's numbers. It's so much easier for people to get a hold of me that I don't even want to talk to, right? It's crazy. Mhm. It's a very good point. Aren't social workers supposed to follow up with those struggling with mental health diagnoses when they suspect that they aren't being abused? Yes. I mean, depending on what the situation is, there needs to be follow up. But I'm just saying, believe it or not, we are closer to an autonomous therapy that most would think social workers aren't even the good guys anymore, right? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Oh my God, Animal just gifted 10 memberships. Animal, thank you so much. Lord have mercy. If y'all got a membership from Chico, from Animal, from Elria, from any of the people that have been gifting, from Leanne, from anyone that is gifted, please make sure that you guys are dropping hearts for them, because they are gifting and that is awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You guys are awesome for gifting. Thank you guys. Let's keep going, okay?
And it shows your clinical psychologist why exactly your risk is higher. And then and as long as you do your telehealth sessions, and as long as you check in, as long as you show up to appointments, and as
Yep.
long as you just maintain that, you can go in and out. But it shows that you were hurting yourself. Now you're in a position where you're not hurting yourself, and you're checking in to show us that you're not planning on harming yourself, and that you're leveraging the resources that we are gifting you. This is a gift. This is not a punishment. The people of the community should always be treated with love and with care and with dignity, and shown that you deserve better. You deserve better. And at the very beginning, they're not going to believe it because they have a lot of self-loathing for what's happened to them. But eventually, if they continue to be treated with dignity and told, what do you want to do? Like, we're going to job train you. We're going to help you get your own place. We're going to help you have a savings account. Like, what is it that we can help you do? What do you want to accomplish? If they're treated where you can't leave, you're an addict. Like, you should never call someone an addict. They're a person that abused a substance because they didn't know what else to do. So, it's a
What the hell? But what did you? Okay, you should never call anybody an addict, but here you want to put people in encampments. Which one is it?
common thing. A lot of people do it, and a lot of people abuse other things. It doesn't just have to be drugs. So everyone has a vice, and everyone's a work in progress. And as long as that's the foundational understanding, it will be very successful. If it's a place where it's like, oh my God, I don't want to be sent there, it'll be very traumatizing for people. So we want it to be a place of hope and a place of health and education.
Gosh, I mean, this has been so insightful, because I mean, really, it's so real and so human, and it's so devastating to see basically society just that's the please hide it, it's the scum or whatever, it's so wrong, it's so wrong.
There's 66,000 people on Skid Row. There's 66,000 people with untapped potential that could add so much value.
What?
And there's a reason that people.
How many people did she say was on Skid Row? How many? I'm just gonna Google search. How many people on Skid Row? She said 66,000. It's actually 4,757. This is what Google says from 2019. It says 66,000. That's what she said. Did I hear that correctly? No, it's not going to be solved by an app or an encampment. That's for sure. I know I'm not going crazy here. She said 60. Did I make that, or did she mean 6,600? Can you guys type the number that she said? Because I swear, Spooky, did she say this number? I said, I know you fucking lie. But this number, I just Google searched it. She said 66,000, right? Did she mean 6,600? Because that's not what I have here. I have 4,757. Maybe she missed the placement. Did you hear 66,000? I'm not joking. Look, I'll show y'all. Look, I just Google searched it. 4,757. That's like, what if I said 47,000? Then y'all be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Rabbit? What are you talking about? That's not the right number. She's pulling the Kris Jenner of numbers, Gina. Oh my goodness.
People end up addicted. Like, a lot of the people that end up so far deep into addiction are actually so creative, and their brain just functions differently. And if you can get them to redirect their focus from just feeling better day to day to being creative and focusing on something positive. I don't believe in living day to day to day and one step at a time. And that works for somebody, but sometimes that works for some people, but not all people. I believe in telling people to focus on something different and tracking them and helping them understand. And at the end of the day, if when you do better in that community, and now you're responsible for someone else in that community, or maybe you can bring someone else in or invite them, kind of like an exclusive club, where you help someone else, it will make that person feel like they have a purpose in their life, that what happened to them wasn't, for nothing. And like begging groceries at Ralph's is not a purpose. But, so it's not just a job that people are looking for, but jobs need to be filled. So it's
meaningful.
Like,
it's something you want to do something meaningful. Yeah,
exactly. So if your job is not fulfilling, how can your life still be fulfilling? If you are doing something, what is the next step to the next thing that you want to do? So that's kind of like where we really want to push it.
Wow. This has been incredible. Thank you so much. I think it's really a massive issue, and I think there are so many ways to help homeless folks much better than our government has been, and that society has been. And really, it's the government's responsibility. That's the buck stops at the government at this point. It's gotten to a level where I mean, look, I think we're on the same page here. It's a disaster, and it needs a lot of help, and hopefully it can change. How can people learn more about your organization and get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can go to www.meetaura.io. That's our website. And so if you're a healthcare worker and looking to use Aura technology in your practice, you can just email us at healthcare@meetaura. If you're a family member, you can email. Looking for support, you can email family-support@meetaura. We do get flooded with emails, so I apologize. We're still a very small startup, a very small team, so if it takes me a little while to get back to you. And then you can also check out exclusives on my Instagram at Lima from Aura. So that's where I put most of what's going on day to day. And then you can check out my interviews on Mark's channel, Soft White Underbelly. And that's just, if you look me up, Lima Soft White Underbelly, you'll find that.
Wow.
And then the petition and the scholarship program that we're trying to grow is on my Instagram. So it's the link in bio if you want to support that. I ended the one that we were doing for Amanda because she passed away, and so now it's more of a general fundraise. So if we grow it big enough, we're going to start opening up applications to viewers. And so what I've been doing is basically for treatment-resistant patients where families are having trouble getting their loved one to go to treatment because they're denying it, I'm helping them get conservatorships and court orders and ordering that 1 year of care, and then helping with the.
Yep, she is helping them make sure that they can pick up charges. I mean, what else? How are you helping somebody get conservatorships? Y'all can go online and get you can find out the steps of it. So, what exactly? What advice are you advising these people to get a conservatorship on, folks? I mean, I just want to know how you do it. How does it happen?
The 1 year planning exactly how I did for Amanda. But again, if you, fingers crossed, you've got our votes. I can't vote because I'm Canadian, but my husband. So if you, if you win governor of California, then I'm happy to help with Aura however I can and put our technology into all of these facilities. And
So I didn't know this. So this guy was running for elections. I'm happy to run and and put Aura in all your facilities. I did speed it up. Y'all see that?
and whatever support you need in that sense, I'd love to help structure it because I think that it's so necessary. And mental health is an epidemic globally. And if California can lead in showing the world how it should be done, it would be a game changer for so many people. It's an invisible problem because you can't see it. So
it's an invisible problem because you can't see it. Yo.
It's really hard to treat, but with Aura, you can see how people feel, and that's the biggest part is, using technology and uniting together. We also have a petition where we're mandating insurance companies and treatment centers to start, using technology. So you can look that up at change.org.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. I mean, your insights have been so phenomenal. Thank you so very much. With that said, then, folks, if you found this interview exciting, well, it's sad, but if you found it insightful, I think is the better way to put it, then do consider sharing the video, like the video, subscribe, check out Lima on Instagram and down in the description as well. Thank you so much for being here. Lima, stand by, folks. I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast. If you want to support the campaign to replace Gavin Newsom, who's doing nothing about this homeless emergency, go to meetkevin.com. Consider donating and supporting the cause. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And Lima, stand by.
Ay, Dios mío. Which, by the way, I don't know if anybody's interested, but the comments are hilarious. Hilarious in that video. Support Kevin campaign to ban the Me t-shirt. I don't know what the hell that is. Newsflash, Lima Bean. Shelters are neither safe nor hygienic. Fresh air is essential for the mental health and physical health. You wonder why there are mattresses on the beach? Because it is a beautiful there. Jails are regulated, shelters are not. I have never spent a night in Skid Row rescue mission because I have spent far too many nights in far too many missions in far too many cities, from Boston to New York to New Orleans to San Diego. They are bug infested dumps in which people are forced to 10 hours of preaching in order to get a meal and a cot. You said the cop told you not to stay on the street for the week that you originally intended to film. What kept you from spending the night in the shelter? You know nothing about homelessness. These comments, man. These comments. This is frightening. I couldn't imagine being forced and held against my will somewhere while they keep track my emotions and monitor if I'm lying or if I'm okay. This is so invasive and not being allowed freedom. We could go down this path and they could literally say anything. Anyone can come and make a decision for them. I don't want to live in that world. This idea is cemented for several reasons. First, not every homeless person is mentally ill or on drugs. There's increasingly large numbers of people who have just fallen on hard times due to stagnant wages, increased cost of housing. That is why they're homeless. Second, assuming anyone's homeless can make their own decision is dehumanizing. I love this fucking comment. There's a myriad of reasons why someone does not have a home. Third, Lima's third option after a shelter rehab is to force the mental health facilities where the person is sedated all day. I don't think I need to elaborate on that why that is disgusting. Fourth, how exactly does a brain scan determine whether a person can make their own decisions? Scientifically, that's impossible. And fifth, as part of Lima's, and they called her Lena's, Lima's plan, does it plan on having all these homeless people who have deemed unable to make their own decisions subsequently forced into a shelter or rehab or institution? Will they also be forced to use the VR device and program she sells? I love that comment. hmm The concept is very dehumanized. It dehumanizing. It is. It is. Truly, it is. Nothing more than that. That's just what I'm gonna say. And that was a review of that. Make sure you guys watch part 1. That's what really, I didn't know that, Mr. Steve Krass. It wouldn't surprise me though. It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't know that, but it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, I will let you guys go because I gotta go tend to baby Bunny. It was great and fun. Thank you so much for everybody that gifted and the super chats and super stickers. You guys are awesome. Y'all are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you for gifting. I might go live on reviewing the LOL suit. Shout out to Burnt Toast. I know she did a good fucking phenomenal review. Shout out to her. And I might do a review just to kind of give some commentary, not a whole lot, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will see you guys on the next one. You guys are awesome. Have a great day. I'll be back later today. I don't know what time yet, but I'll be back. Rabbits out.